call it, abs or stomach, yeah. So that Sahabi, he hugged the Prophet ﷺ and he kissed his stomach, for example. Call it abs or, yes, abs, not flabs. Okay. All right. So he hugged him, and then he said, what did he say? Anyone know? It was very beautiful. He said, yes. Yeah, because we're going to a battlefield, and I don't know that if I'm gonna, survive or not, or die as a martyr. So I want my last, contact with you. I make skin to skin contact with your body. That's what he said. That's my wish. That's why I did all this a plan, and I said that I'm hurt, but it was not. What's the name of the Sahabi? Anyone know? Yeah, the name we don't know. Name's very hard to remember, but inshallah, there is the name. I have to pull my notes. Where's the name? Okay, so his name was Sawad ibn Ghaziya. Sawad ibn Ghaziya. Yes, Ghaziya. Yes, that's the Sawad, his name. Sawad means Aswad, Sawad. ما معنى سواد, brother? Aswad. Black, yes, Sawad. So that's his name, Sawad bin Ghaziya. Just the meaning, so we remember maybe, inshallah. Yeah, Aswadain, yes. Yes. Yeah. They just, in Arabic, sometimes you just, get a name for two things. One of them, it makes sense, but for another one, no. But you just call both that name, Yes, yes. So that happens. So that's fine. So here as well. So Sawad bin Ghaziya. So that's a beautiful story. Yeah, I heard my voice. That's why. Okay, Bismillah. Okay, now inshallah, move on to, of course, the captives. What to do with the captives? Anyone know the captive? So the Prophet ﷺ, of course, as his usual, habit is to take the opinions of his companions, especially the great companions of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Umar radiallahu anhu. So over here, the Prophet ﷺ asked Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, what should we do with these captives, And what was his reply? Anyone can, inshallah? Abu Bakr? Abu Bakr, no way. He's a very soft, compared to Umar, yes. He said, what did he say? Ransom. Like, each relative can give something, and then we can free the captive, the person. And if he doesn't have any wealth or any, wealth to give, not keep him. What other options? He should, if he can teach, he should teach, the children of Medina, teach maybe reading, writing, or anything. And then once, he fulfills his duty, he can be released. If his family cannot afford the ransom or cannot pay the ransom, so he does teaching or maybe some other work. Yeah. So this is. But Umar radiallahu anhu, what was his opinion? What did he say? He said, these are disbelievers, These are people who, if you allow them to live, they're going to even grow bigger and stronger. So we got to finish. Cut from the roots. So that's what his opinion. Then, the Prophet ﷺ, he chose which opinion? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And there's benefit, because if you get money, or wealth, it will support, because I think at that time the Muslim needed the immigrants. They just migrated from Mecca to Medina. They need support in terms of wealth, and finances. Yeah. So it was, it was. I think it has the benefit, but then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a verse in Surah Tawbah. ما كان لنبي أن يكون له أسرى حتى يثخن في الأرض. Yeah. So in that surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that it should not be for a prophet to keep captives of war until they yuthkhina. Athkhana fil ard means to turn the earth or the land red, means to kill. And then Allah said, "Turiduna arad dunya." You want the dunya? Do you prefer dunya? Turid arada yuridu means you want dunya, but Allah prefers akhirah, the hereafter. So over here, so that's why Abu Bakr and the Prophet ﷺ, they were crying, they were weeping a little bit, and Umar came and saw both of them weeping. Why? What happened? And then Abu Bakr said this verse was revealed. But then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لولا كتاب من الله سبق لمسكم فيما أخذتم عذاب عظيم. And if it was not something that Allah has decreed previously, this would be a reason, a cause for your punishment. But it was decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, yep. So happened what happened. So they took the ransom, yes. But some could not pay the ransom. Like even the daughter of the Prophet ﷺ, Zainab radiallahu anha, her husband was one of the captives. Yes. So I think she gave her some of her jewelry to free her husband. But then the Muslims, the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, returned that jewelry back to her out of respect for the Prophet ﷺ, but then they told the husband to allow her to migrate to Medina. So he agreed. So then he was released, the husband of Zainab radiallahu anha. And then after that, only this incident, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed that verse, like saying to the Prophet, it was not the best choice. But then after, فَإِمَّا مَنًّا بَعْدُ وَإِمَّا فِدَاءً. Generally now, you either can, release for free, just release the captives for free. مَنًّا بَعْدُ. Manna mean just release it, or fida. Fida meaning ransom. So you can release or you can take something in return. That's the general rule for any, inshallah, battlefield, Yes. So there is permission to accept ransom. It's not wrong, okay? Or you can even release just out of, you can see which, you weigh the benefits, the pros and cons, they say, huh? Which one is better for the Muslim ummah? Which one is better? So yeah, it depends. So every situation is different. Yep. So any questions? Some became Muslim, yeah. We will, inshallah, read some incidents. So here, the ransom was around 1,000 to 4,000 dirhams. 1,000 to 4,000 dirhams. How much is that? Huh? Yeah, exchange rate, yes. So that's around maybe 4,000 dirham is around 6,000 Australian dollars or something like that, roughly 6,300, something like that. So it's a good amount, yeah. That's cheap. In our time, it's very cheap. Maybe in our time, it's like more than that. But that at that time was good enough, yeah. So you have to take the price of silver per gram. What's the price? I think in Australia at the moment is, it goes up and down, fluctuates. $1.58 maybe per gram, something like that. Yeah, gold is more expensive. Yeah, but that's the dirham. So that was the price for, so ranging from 1,000 to 4,000. So the husband of Zainab, what was his name? Her husband. Abul As. Yes. So she actually gave her necklace to free her husband, but the companions of the Prophet returned the necklace and gave it back to Zainab radiallahu anha, because she was the daughter of the Prophet. So out of respect, but then they told him to allow your wife to, don't give her a hard time, allow her to migrate to Medina. Yep. And also this among the captives was one person, his name is Suhail bin Amr. He was a poet, eloquent orator of poetry. He's very good in poems. So Umar radiallahu anhu, again, that's why the people are scared, you know. Umar said, you know what we do with this person? Let's break his teeth, or he said, be pulled so he can't really say, the letters properly. Because if you don't have teeth, or maybe no tongue, it's hard to pronounce letters, to articulate letters. It won't be clear, yes? Let's do that. And then, but this in Islam is not allowed, see? It's not allowed to, like take someone's eye out, or teeth out, or cut the tongue, or cut the ears. It's not allowed. It's called muthla, which is not allowed. But Umar, he's very... So the Prophet said, no, we don't do that. We will not. So you see, you always see sometimes the Sahaba is more... Arabs, see? These are Arab again. These are people who... Umar radiallahu anhu buried his daughter alive like this, Yeah. Very different people. Not like Indonesian, Malaysian, different. Okay, this is Arabs, yeah? So we have to understand the context too, understand the people at that time, the Jahiliyyah people. You see, we might say, well, that's too rough. How can a companion very aggressive like that, very so violent? No, you have to compare to those times, So this happened here. And then also, look, if you do that to your enemy, then your enemy will do the same to you. You see, if you poke the eyes of your enemy and cut the nose, cut this, cut that, and whatever, chop the head and put it on the thing, on top of the tree, your enemies will do the same. So better not do that. Yeah. And also, that's the human body is what is it called? Honored. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala karramna bani Adam. So doing that is against the values of Islam. So if you hear. And also another person, so that was Suhail bin Amr. So he was, I think, what happened to him? So Sa'ad bin Nu'man had been detained in Mecca. There's another Sahabi, companion of the Prophet ﷺ. He was detained in Mecca. Sa'ad bin Nu'man. Sa'ad bin Nu'man. So they swapped. Suhail bin Amr with Sa'ad bin Nu'man. Prisoners swap. Yeah, we see this in politics. Yes, within country, we swap, we give you, and then yes, so this happens here. So they swapped, prison exchange. All right. Now we are moving to another great battle happened in Islam, which is the Battle of Uhud. Yes, but before that, there were many other incidents of military expeditions conducted by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And also, they say over here, the zakah was also made obligatory by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during this time, during the second year of Hijrah, just after the battle of Badr. And also because the immigrants, they needed wealth to help with their situation. And also What else? Fasting. Huh? Yeah, fasting was also around this time, and of course, when you fast in Ramadan, also Eid after Ramadan. Also, this Eid celebration also happened around this time, second year of Hijrah. All right. Okay. Now we, inshallah, there are several military activities between Badr and Uhud. So we will, inshallah, talk about it. So here, because when the Prophet ﷺ, he won in the Battle of Badr, so this really, you know, dealt. It really blew the kuffar Quraysh, the Quraysh, and also even the those Arabs who were living around Medina, the Jews, they did not like what happened, and Quraysh was, you know, they intend to take revenge in the future, so they were preparing for that as well. As we mentioned, even they don't even show their sadness, or you know, they don't even cry over their beloved ones who died in the battlefield. They didn't show that one. So Muslims should not, you know, be happy. And the Jews also, they didn't like this victory, of course. They were in Medina, they didn't like, and also the hypocrites as well. The hypocrites, they didn't like it. And also the Bedouins, those who were living around the outskirts of Medina, and they depend on, you know, looting and stealing, you know, looting others' wealth and belongings. That's their life depend on that, because they don't like it. Because why they don't like it? Because now it's a threat to their way of life. You know, they can't loot anymore. They can't take what belongs to others, because Islam forbids that. So that's why they didn't like. They didn't care about what you believe in. You believe in what, one God or two gods, three gods, 100 gods. They don't care about belief, but what they care was their, you know, lifestyle. This is how we live. We have power. We take what we want, how much we want. So they didn't like it as well. So this one, that's why it was the Prophet ﷺ, he said, you know, he was concerned about the safety of the people of Medina, and not to allow anything happen, you know, anyone preparing to attack Medina or to harm the Muslims. Because if you don't what is it called, stay awake, or make sure that you're aware of your surroundings, then your enemy can just prepare and then hit you so hard out of nowhere. That's why this is very important. You see, every country has a buffer zone. You can say buffer zone, or you know, intelligence to see what's going on. You see, intelligence, a team of, you know, those who are engaged in this. They find information and what's going to happen, and they prepare as well. Yes. So all this, the Prophet ﷺ was doing the same to make sure people in Medina safe, everyone, including the Jews. Or you see, remember we spoke about, you know, the Prophet ﷺ made treaty with the Jews, with the hypocrites as well, with the Bedouins living in the deserts around Medina, in that area, and other tribes, Arab tribes. So, but you know, some were not satisfied. They couldn't hold back anymore. You know, see, they hold back. They try to be patient. You know, Islam is spreading. Okay, we just leave it. But then it blew out. They couldn't, and you know, that's when they broke the treaty. Who? The minorities, the Jews, for example, will read. They break the treaty, start killing someone or something, or maybe, you know, doing some mischief on earth. So here, one of the invasion the Prophet ﷺ took part in is it's called Al-Qudr invasion. Al-Qudr. So Al-Qudr, this one, the Prophet ﷺ, the first intelligence to reach the Prophet ﷺ after Badr and while in Medina was of Banu Sulaim. This is Banu Sulaim of Ghatafan. Banu Sulaim, a tribe, Arab tribe. They were engaging in preparing, gathering troops, weapons to attack the Muslims. So the Prophet ﷺ received intelligence. See, intelligence. Yes. So the Prophet ﷺ, of course, he also prepared. He prepared. Also, not and keeping keeping it secret so the enemy don't know. So when the Prophet goes for attack them, it's secret. It's a surprise for them. Oh, suddenly the army of Muslims are here. So the Prophet ﷺ, what he did was he assembled an army, and then after that immediately went to their area, but they fled even before the Muslims arrived. Were very they're fearful, they're scared. They left and fled to the mountains, and they left many things like camels. So the Prophet ﷺ and his companions took 500 camels. 500 camels. Okay, and also other things. And then the Prophet, as usual, he divided. He took 1/5 for Allah and His Rasul, and then the rest is divided equally upon all fighters, distributed to the fighters equally. So this is, so they could not proceed with their plans to attack Medina. Before it happens, the Prophet ﷺ took action. This is how it is. And I think no one was killed here. They all ran away. See? They all ran away. No one was killed. Alhamdulillah, no one was killed. And so this is Qudr invasion, an invasion of Al-Qudr. So these many incidents are this happening. They try to assemble, regroup and try to do something. So here, and also they tried to assassinate the Prophet ﷺ. Remember, before he migrated, they tried the Quraysh. This one again they tried. So this time it was two people. Two people. One is called Umayr. Umayr, his name is Umayr bin Wahab al-Jumahi. Umayr bin Wahab al-Jumahi. He was a polytheist, a mushrik. And the other person is Safwan bin Umayyah. So Umayr bin Wahab al-Jumahi and Safwan bin Umayyah. So these two, of course, they, after receiving the bad news, the Quraysh, they were defeated in Badr, so they were very sad. They sat together, two of them, Umayr and Safwan, discussing. He said, "I want to, assassinate the Prophet. I want to assassinate Muhammad." So to end this, you assassinate. Yeah, of course, the leader. That assassinate, and this will come to an end. And also Umayr, this person, his son was also a captive. His son was a captive. His son is captured by the Muslim, and his son is in Medina, a captive. Yes. So he said, "Look, I want to go." Umayr said to Safwan, "I want to go and assassinate Muhammad myself. I'm ready for it, but I can't leave my family. I can't leave Mecca because I have debt. So I can't leave, and I can't leave my family. They need me, So Safwan said, "Look, you have debt." He said, "Don't worry about your debt. I will cover your debt. Your debt is on me. I will fulfill it. I will pay it off, and also I will look after your family. I'll look after your family, your kids, your wife. You can go to Medina and assassinate the Prophet. I will take care of everything here on this side." So he said, "Okay." And Umayr said to Safwan, "Please don't tell anyone. This is secret between us. This plan, the plan we're doing, is a secret. Don't tell anyone. Please, keep it a secret." He said, "Yeah, for sure." So he went. Umayr, he traveled to Medina. He went to Medina, but after that, he with his ride, of course, horse or camel, and then he reached the Medina Masjid Nabawi, the mosque. Umar radiallahu anhu saw him from inside the mosque, you know. From the door he saw him. He saw this, oh, this is Umair. Umar radiallahu anhu knows who's Umair. And then he said, oh, this shaitan is here. He said, yeah? I think he's bringing some bad intentions. He's not here for something good. He's planning evil. He has evil plan. So immediately Umar radiallahu anhu took his sword, of course. He's ready to, prepared for anything bad to happen. So what happened? Okay, what happened now? Umar radiallahu anhu told the Prophet ﷺ, look, this Umair here. And then I don't think he came with a good, intention. He has a bad intention. And so the Prophet says, bring him inside. The Prophet ﷺ told his companions to bring him inside. And then the Prophet asked Umair, what is your intention to come here? And he said, look, my son is a captive, so I came here to free my son. He told the Prophet, but his plan was to kill, yes? And then his sword was outside, was not, I think, it was not in the, in the sheath, yeah? Like a police has, his gun is, the clip is not clipped, is ready for something, So the Prophet asked, what's with your sword then? Or this one I just, for my safety and things. And then Umar said, no, he's got some other intentions here, So, and then the Prophet told him, I know your intention. You came here to kill me. The Prophet said. So he was taken by surprise. Who told you, You came here to kill me. You planned this with Safwan. The Prophet told him everything. So basically, he was surprised. How did the Prophet knew the secret? It was only between him, Umair, and Safwan. How did the Prophet knew? So it's from revelation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he immediately accepted Islam on the spot. Umair, he immediately said the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammad Rasulullah. He accepted Islam. Inside, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not a verse in Quran, not part of Quran, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told through the angel Jibreel. So okay, so now, so he requested the companions of the Prophet to teach him the Quran, teach him Islam, and then his son was freed. Yes, just like that. So, but Safwan in Mecca, he was waiting for the good news. He didn't know what's happening. I mean, it's not like in our times we get the message or the news quickly, This one you have to wait days to get the news. So he was hoping that all this, but then he came to know the real news, and then he was even more upset, angry. And then Umair radiallahu anhu, he returned back to Mecca and he started calling, giving da'wah to people in Mecca. Yes. So this is the story. They tried to assassinate the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umair and Safwan. No, he didn't. He was still a polytheist. He didn't revert. Okay, so now this is what happened, and also this now another incident regarding the Jews, the Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Nadir. So Banu Qaynuqa is a Jewish tribe residing in Medina. So what they did was, they were patient. They heard about the Muslim, they were victorious in Badr. They didn't like it. They were trying to suppress their, control their anger, control their behavior, but at the end they couldn't. Okay, so they did many bad things, and we will mention some of those. They tried to create trouble. and try to, propaganda and all this. Even now, the same thing. Huh? So here, one story. Shan bin Qais. He was Shan bin Qais. This is his name. He was an elderly person, and he hates the Muslim. He hates the companions of the Prophet and the Prophet himself. He hates. So what he did was, okay, he sent one of his young men, or maybe his children or his young men, to the gatherings of the companions. He saw the gathering of the companions. They were, mashallah, Aus and Khazraj. Remember these two tribes? They were bitter enemies. But when he saw, they're so loving and very kind. They're sitting together and they having a discussion, very friendly. And so he sent two of his men, young men, to also attend that gathering. But for what reason? To create back that enmity between the hatred between the two. So these men, they start reminding, you remember those days, those days we fought this and this. They start to create that, to bring that the past back again. And they were successful. They succeeded. The two side of the Aus and Khazraj, they started to mock each other and even ready for a fight. Yeah, but then the Prophet ﷺ heard about it, so he came straight away to that gathering. He came there to his companions and said, "Look, I'm smelling some, smell of jahiliyyah, ignorance. I'm smelling. This is not good, huh?" And he, of course, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that, before you were fighting each other, killing. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala united your hearts. Are you going to go back again to that ignorant times? So the Prophet ﷺ, they came back to their senses and they hugged each other, basically. And so this plot failed, huh? This, they're trying to do this, it failed miserably. So this is one of the, examples of what the Jews were planning and trying to do. So this is the Jews of Banu Qaynuqa. Okay, so the Jews, after witnessing the help that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted to the believers through their noticeable victory, and also, of course, many people surrounding Medina, they accepted Islam after the Battle of Badr. So this so they began, publicly doing harmful actions to people, just to Muslims, scaring them and many other, annoying the Muslims, basically, in Medina. So this Ka'ab ibn Ashraf, this is one of the leaders of the Jews. He also did the same. So one incident here we have. The Banu Qaynuqa, this tribe, they were good in making like weapons. Got the goldsmith, and also they make the blacksmith as well. So they handcraft weapons and items of household items. So they have weapons. Yes, they have weapons. They make weapons. So that's why they were preparing all this time, secretly, to one day, fight the Muslims. So in Abu Dawood, in his hadith book, there's a narration. When the Prophet ﷺ, he returned from Badr, he said to the Jews, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ said to the Jews, enter Islam before you suffer the same fate as the Quraysh. So the Prophet is telling them to enter Islam before you suffer the same fate as the Quraysh suffered. But they replied, they said, oh, Quraysh, they're not experienced in war. We are more experienced. We have more power. We have more weapons. Those people, they're not experienced. So you haven't fight us yet. So you don't know who we are. So it's basically saying, be quiet. You don't know who we are yet. You haven't faced us. You faced the Quraysh. They're not like us. They're not people like us. We are more strong and we have more weapon. Yes. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, قُلْ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَتُغْلَبُونَ وَتُحْشَرُونَ إِلَى جَهَنَّمْ. Say, O Muhammad, to those who disbelieve, you will be defeated and gathered together to hellfire. And worst indeed is that place to rest. There has already been a sign for you, O Jews, in the two armies that met in the battle of Badr. One was fighting in the cause of Allah, and as for the other, they were disbelievers. So this is a reply. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this verse in reply to the Jews. Okay, there's an incident. Ibn Hisham, in Seerah Ibn Hisham, that this one person, he reported that one Arab woman, she went to the market to buy something, to sell something, to buy something. She went to the market to sell. So she was sitting. She was sitting near a shop belonging to a Jew. She was sitting there. So this Jew, he tied her skirt, I think her undergarment, tied it to something with a rope. You know how you do prank people, they tie it. And then, so this woman wanted to stand up and walk. Suddenly, her undergarment or her skirt, I think, or pants maybe, came off, and then her private part was shown, in market. So all the people in the market were laughing. So this is one example. So this goldsmith, he was a goldsmith. He has a goldsmith shop. So then when this happened, one of the Muslim men, he attacked the Jew and killed him immediately on the spot. Killed on the spot the Jew. And after that, the other Jews came and killed this Muslim man. They all came and killed him. So this is what happened. This is big trouble, Started, yeah, but that maybe he's trying to pull a prank, not a prank. But Arab, you don't do that, To a woman, you get killed. Like in Indonesia, if you steal something, they bash you up before the police comes, and you have to, otherwise you can die on the spot. See, this is the thing. They bash you, finish. People they think the motorbikes at night, and if you get caught with the mass or the people in the village, even police can't do anything. They will try to save you. Don't kill this person. Don't kill. You're gone, man. Yes, because that much people hate people who do this stuff. This is called, إنما جزاء الذين يحاربون الله, ويسعون في الأرض فسادا. In Quran means they commit mischief on earth. It's called terrorizing people. It's called terrorizing, in many ways. This is not good, not allowed. And in Islam, the punishment is very severe, actually, to stop people from doing this. So this is what happens. So this is when it became severe, worse. Now the situation is intense, because loss of life. See, the Muslim lost the one that attacked, and then the Jews as well. So now what happened is the siege. So the Prophet ﷺ decided to, to to march, to go to the Banu Qaynuqa and make them surrender, basically, or fight. If they're willing to fight, they don't want to surrender. They surrender is good. If not, it will be a fight. Yeah. So in the second year of Hijrah, this one occurred. The Prophet ﷺ appointed Abu Lubaba to stay in Medina, to be responsible for the affairs in Medina. And then he went. The Prophet ﷺ went. So he went to the Jewish forts, and remained there for 15 days, sieging. A siege. Siege is to surround the Jewish forts for 15 days. And Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, he was the one carrying the flag in this expedition. So the Prophet ﷺ, so they surrendered, the Jews. They didn't want to fight. They surrendered because of fear. They surrendered. So they said, we surrender, and they become obliged to accept the messenger's judgment concerning their lives, their wealth, and their people. So Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, who is this person? Anyone remember Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul? A hypocrite, yes, the leader of the hypocrite. Of course, he must do something. He said, look, he tried to negotiate between the Muslim and the Jews, you see, and he said, we have alliance previously between the Aus and Khazraj, and so the Prophet ﷺ, granted his request. What was his request? Is to not what is it called? Not fight, not fight. So the Banu Qaynuqa, the Jews, they surrendered everything, their wealth, their weapons, everything. They gave it to the Prophet ﷺ. So then he also divided that, the ghanima, the booty of war, the malul ghanima. The Prophet 1/5 for Allah and His Prophet, and the rest divided amongst the Muslims, the fighters, basically. So this is the Banu Qaynuqa. And then where did they go, these people, Banu Qaynuqa? Did they remain in Medina, the same place, or they had to leave? They had to leave, of course. Yes, they had to leave. So there's no fighting, but you have to leave and give everything to the Muslims. Surrender everything, the wealth and weapons, and yes. So they went. They went migrated to other places in Syria, in the Levant. Yeah, they went there. This is another invasion as well. It's called As-Sawiq invasion. It's called As-Sawiq. The word Sawiq means barley. Yeah, some Sawiq. It's a barley. It's a drink, like oats, like porridge. So it must be. So this is Sawiq. It's called Sawiq. Why? Because the caravan, they were carrying Sawiq back from to Mecca, basically. So they attacked this caravan and they got Sawiq, the porridge. So that's why it's called a Sawiq invasion. So this one, so Abu Sufyan, he was preparing in an army to seek vengeance, to seek revenge. Abu Sufyan. On the Muslim, of course, because their defeat in Badr, So he said he went with 200 men towards Medina. He went towards Medina, but they were not brave to attack, in broad daylight. So they were not brave enough to attack in broad daylight. So they planned to do something at night. Like a robbery, like a thief, at night, secretly. So what they did was, Abu Sufyan went to see one of his friend, Huyay ibn Akhtab. This is also a Jew. This friend, he went to visit him. So Huyay ibn Akhtab, he was too afraid to let him in, so he left for the house of Salam bin Mishkam, the leader of Bani Nadir, a Jewish tribe. So yeah, these Jews again, working together with Quraysh, with Abu Sufyan. But they took him outside because they don't want to, the Muslim to know, the Jews working, because it's part of the treaty not to, what is it called, help any foreign people from outside Medina to basically attack Medina or to harm the people of Medina. That's part of the treaty. But what they're doing here, they're working together, see? So that's why here the Jews entertained Abu Sufyan and gave him a complete, what's going on, gave him the updated news, basically, what's going on in Medina, and this because so so late at night, Abu Sufyan and his 200 men, they raid Al-Urayd. This is a suburb in Medina, a locality in Medina, Al-Urayd it's called. So what the men did was they cut the trees, they burn the palm trees, they burn it down, and they also killed two Muslims. They killed 2 Muslims. So when the Prophet ﷺ heard about this incident, he gathered his men, his companions, and then went out to find these 200 men and Abu Sufyan. Yeah? But the Prophet ﷺ, he couldn't catch to Abu Sufyan. Could not catch to Abu Sufyan because they were very fast, maybe. Okay, but they left. What they left? Their belongings, their sawiq, their porridge. They left porridge. The barley. They left it. So, because they need to lighten their loads. If you are very heavy, it will slow you down. Yes. So they left all the unnecessary, the food and maybe some other things. So that's the Muslim got that and took it to Medina with them. So this is. Huh? No, they know it's a lot. He has been. It's that army, of course. But they couldn't catch to them. They were fast, of course. They got good horse, maybe good camels, very fast, But they left their stuff behind. So this is, see, they're plotting. They're trying to attack the Muslim or somehow harm, and and then there's another one, invasion of the Amr. This is another invasion. So this is, they break their treaty, doesn't matter to them. They break it because, of course, this is how it is. But in Islam, we don't break the treaty. We have to tell, I'm not going to, what is it called? I'm choosing to pull away from this treaty. And then after that, you can do something. But during that, no. Yes? Yes. So the invasion of the Amr, this one is another invasion. It's called the Amr. The Amr is a place, a name of a place. So what happened here is in the month of Muharram, in the 3rd year after Hijrah, this one, in the 3rd year, not the 2nd year, the 3rd year of after Hijrah, the Prophet ﷺ received news, intelligence, information. Banu Tha'labah and Banu Muharib, they were gathering troops with the aim of raiding the outskirts of Medina. Again, troops, preparing an army to raid or to the outskirts of Medina. So the Prophet ﷺ, at the head of 450 men. 450, that's big, yeah? That's bigger than Badr, that one. This is the largest military expedition before the Battle of Uhud. So even Badr was less than 450. So this is big. So he assembled the army, and then he told Uthman ibn Affan to remain in Medina, to be in charge of in Medina, to be in charge. So the Prophet ﷺ, on his way, he captured a man. He captured a man, but that man embraced Islam. Yes. And how? You know how? How did that man embrace Islam? With what? Seeing what? What did they see? Huh? The good akhlaq, the good manners from the Prophet ﷺ. See, this one. Even, the captives in Badr, the Sahaba, they eat bread and dates, yeah? They give the captives the bread, and they eat the dates, because bread is more valuable, more. Yeah, it's hard to make. You have to get barley, get wheat, and make it. Dates is everywhere. It grows naturally. So bread is more expensive, basically. It's more valuable, more. It's hard to get. It's hard to make. So they give it to the captives, and the Sahaba eats the date. That's how they treat the captives. See. So we have to treat captives. Yes. Yes. Is some food? Okay. Now I smell it. I was busy focus here. Yeah, now it's Northland pizza, I think. MashaAllah. So this is the Amr, huh? So they accepted Islam. So when these people, the Banu Tha'laba and Banu Muharib, these two tribes, when they heard the Muslims were coming, they ran to the mountains. They ran for themselves. They had fear. They couldn't face the Muslims. See, now it's happening in Seerah. Alhamdulillah, they're running away. Yeah, the power, the force is different. Yeah, when you have nothing to lose, it's different, huh? You can't. Even in hadith, nusirtu bil-ru'b. There is a hadith that the Prophet said that Allah helped me with the fear. Allah instilled fear in the hearts of my enemies. Allah put fear in their hearts. So this has happened here too. So the Prophet they ran. So no, of course, no fight or no killing happened. They ran, finished. That's the end of it. Even this, the Prophet going marching, the Bedouins around there, they know now, for sure that the Muslim are powerful, So they manage themselves. They don't do any mischief. They're afraid to do so. So this is inshallah. And then the next one will be a interesting story, the killing of Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. This is the Prophet sallallahu ask his companions to kill this person, Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. Yeah, this is one person who lived in Medina. He's a Jew, but he was very. He's an influencer. One thing you can say, through power, he's influenced the people to fight the Muslims. He's a big influencer. you can say the word influencer. He's got a big follower. Yes, he's very influential person. And yeah, the Prophet had enough and asked. And anyone know the story? It's a good story. It's interesting. So Ka'b ibn Ashraf is one of the Jews. Yes. So inshallah, this next time, or we gonna eat now, or the pizza came, or the smell. Yes. Okay. Subhanallahumma bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Okay. Yes. So next week will be last one, inshallah. Last Tuesday, Wednesday. That's the I think the 16th, the 17th, 18th. That's the last session, inshallah. Seerah and Quran on the Wednesday, and after that break, inshallah, until January something. After 10th January we start again, huh? Yeah, holiday, Boxing Day. Oh, January 14. That's good. So inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka. Yeah.